Good morning, children. Today we are going to start with the second part of the first chapter of matter, and the topics discussed will be interconversion of states of matter and law of conservation of mass. So, Brownian motion was discovered by Robert Brown. He suspended some pollen grains in water and looked into the water through a magnifying glass. He observed that the pollen grains were moving throughout the water in a zigzag or irregular manner. Why? This was because water is made up of tiny particles which are in constant random motion. The pollen grains move in such a way because they collide with the moving particles of water. This haphazard means moving in any direction in any way. Random means very fast. Motion of suspended particles on the surface of a liquid or in air is called Brownian motion, as you all can see here in the figure. Now, diffusion. It is the intermixing of two or more substances due to the motion of the particles in order to get a uniform mixture. So, there is an activity. We'll take a gas jar which is filled with reddish brown bromine vapors. We'll take another gas jar and invert it over the first gas jar. After some time, we'll see reddish brown vapors spread out in the other gas jar due to diffusion. Now we'll start with interconversion of states of matter. It is a phenomenon of change of one state of matter into another and back to the original state without any change in its chemical composition, which is caused by change in temperature and change in pressure. Now let's see the change of state of matter by changing temperature. When a solid substance is heated, it converts into liquid, which on further heating converts into gas. On cooling, just the reverse happens. So, I think so you all have seen this, no? Ice on, if you take out ice cubes from the deep freeze of your refrigerator and you keep it on the dining table, it converts into water. Water on further heating converts into water vapor. Another example is burning of a candle. When a candle is burned, a part of it melts into liquid wax, whereas a small part of it changes into wax vapor, which is a mixture of carbon dioxide and water vapor. It's lost in the air. Now, we can also change the state by changing pressure. A gas can be changed into liquid and then into solid by cooling it and by increasing its pressure. In this way, we can obtain liquid oxygen, liquid hydrogen, etc. Now, melting. When a substance is heated, what happens is that the particles vibrate faster about their fixed positions due to kinetic energy. Then the vibration of the particles overcomes the attractive forces between them. They begin to break away from their fixed positions. The particles slide over one another and the substance now is a liquid. Freezing. Energy is given out by the particles of the liquid. They lose kinetic energy and begin to move more slowly. When the temperature is low enough, the particles do not have enough energy to move freely. Some particles start to settle into fixed positions. Finally, all the particles settle into fixed positions. Particles can only vibrate about their fixed positions. The substance is now a solid. Boiling. When we heat a liquid, the particles gain kinetic energy and they start to move faster. Eventually, the particles have enough energy to overcome the attractive forces holding them together. They spread far apart and move rapidly in all directions. The substance is now a gas. Evaporation. Now, First thing, evaporation takes place at all temperatures, whereas boiling takes place only at boiling point. Evaporation occurs because some particles have enough energy, more kinetic energy, to escape as a gas from the surface of the liquid. Now, volatile liquids are liquids that evaporate quickly at room temperature. For example, petrol and perfumes. Condensation. Heat energy is given out when a liquid is boiled and the gas particles lose energy, move very slowly as the temperature drops. Eventually, the movement of particles becomes slow enough for the gas to change into a liquid. They move closer to slide past one another, and we can see droplets of water out here on cooling. They are getting deposited out here. This is called condensation. Next is sublimation. It involves changing of a solid directly into a gas without going through the liquid state. Examples: dry ice, which is also called as solid carbon dioxide. Okay, solid iodine, ammonium chloride, naphthalene. Do you remember? We use it in ourselves, Surax. We also use it when we store our winter clothes. And if you observe after a few days, you'll see that its size has got to be smaller. It's because it undergoes sublimation. Now, why does a substance sublime? It is because the forces between the particles in the liquid state are too weak to remain in this state. This occurs because particles at the surface have enough energy to break off from the solid and become gas. As you can see, solid iodine, and you can see the vapors of iodine, no? The violet vapors of iodine. Now it is the scientist Lavoisier who proposed the law of conservation of mass, which states that matter can neither be created nor destroyed during a chemical reaction. However, it may change from one form to another during the reaction process. It can also be stated as, in a chemical reaction, the total mass of the reactants is always equal to the mass of the products. So we are going to go through one activity. We'll take a conical flask and fill it with sodium sulfate solution. We can take 5 ml. In another test tube, what we'll do, we'll take 5 ml of barium chloride solution and invert it over the conical flask with the help of a thread. And then what we'll do, we'll fix it with the help of a cork. After some time, when we tilt the test tube, barium chloride solution mixes with sodium sulfate solution, and we can see a white precipitate of barium sulfate. Okay, this is called a precipitate. Now, what is a precipitate? An insoluble solid is called a precipitate. Now, if we weigh the conical flask along with its arrangement before the experiment, and then after mixing, after the experiment is over, on a weighing balance, we'll see that total mass of the apparatus plus reactants is equal to the total mass of the apparatus plus products. Hence, the law of conservation of mass is verified. So, it is clear that there is no change in mass before and after a reaction. However, the substances undergo physical and chemical changes. Thank you.